Life is a journey of constant change and growth. Every day we face choices that shape our future and define who we are. Today we're going to talk about one of the most powerful choices you can make, the decision to let go and free yourself. Think about it for a moment. What are you holding on to right now? What grudges, fears, or limiting beliefs are weighing you down? These invisible burdens might seem small, but they accumulate over time, draining your energy and holding you back from reaching your true potential. Now, I want you to imagine a bird in a cage. This bird was born in captivity, never knowing the joy of soaring through open skies. One day, someone opens the cage door. What do you think happens? Does the bird immediately fly out? No, it doesn't. It stays put, clinging to the familiar confines of its cage. This bird represents many of us, comfortable in our limitations, afraid to spread our wings and fly. You were born to soar. You have within you an unlimited potential for growth, success, and happiness. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is the cage you've built around yourself, a cage made of fear, doubt, and past hurts. Letting go isn't easy. It requires courage, strength, and faith in yourself, but it's the most liberating thing you can do. When you release the things that no longer serve you, you create space for new opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with your true self. Think about a time when you let go of something. Maybe it was a job that was making you miserable, a toxic relationship, or a long-held belief that was holding you back. Remember how it felt? That mixture of fear and exhilaration, the sense of lightness and possibility. That's the feeling of freedom. Now, I'm not saying you should abandon all your responsibilities or burn bridges. Letting go doesn't mean running away from your problems. It means facing them head on, learning from them, and then moving forward without carrying the weight of the past. Let's talk about forgiveness. It's one of the most powerful forms of letting go. When you hold on to anger or resentment, you're not punishing the other person, you're punishing yourself. You're carrying around a heavy burden that affects your peace of mind, your relationships, and even your physical health. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or condoning what happened. It means choosing to release the negative emotions associated with the event. It's a gift you give yourself, not the other person. Remember, forgiveness is a process, not a one-time event. It takes time and effort, but with each step you take towards forgiveness, you're reclaiming your power and freeing yourself from the chains of the past. Now let's talk about fear. Fear is one of the biggest obstacles to letting go. We cling to the familiar even when it's not good for us because we're afraid of the unknown. But here's the thing, fear is often just false evidence appearing real. Most of the things we fear never come to pass. And even if they do, we're usually much more capable of handling them than we give ourselves credit for. Every time you face a fear, you grow stronger. You prove to yourself that you can handle challenges and uncertainty. So I challenge you to identify one fear that's holding you back. Maybe it's the fear of failure or the fear of success. Maybe it's the fear of being alone or the fear of what others might think. Whatever it is, acknowledge it. What's the worst that could happen if I let go of this fear? And what's the best that could happen? Often you'll find that the potential rewards far outweigh the risks. And even if things don't work out exactly as you hoped, you'll have gained valuable experience and grown as a person. Now let's talk about limiting beliefs. These are the silent saboteurs of our dreams. They're the little voices in our heads that say you're not good enough, you don't deserve success, or it's too late to change. These beliefs often stem from our past experiences or things we were told as children. But here's the important thing to remember. Just because you've believed something for a long time doesn't make it true. Your beliefs create your reality. If you believe you can't do something, you're right. If you believe you can, you're also right. The choice is yours. So I want you to examine your beliefs. Are they serving you? Are they moving you closer to your goals or holding you back? If a belief isn't helping you, it's time to let it go and replace it with one that empowers you. Remember, your mind is like a garden. You need to tend it carefully, pulling out the weeds of negative thoughts and planting seeds of positivity and possibility. Now let's talk about relationships. This can be one of the hardest areas to practice letting go. We often hold on to relationships long after they've stopped being healthy or beneficial, out of fear of being alone or because we've invested so much time in them. But here's the truth. Not everyone is meant to stay in your life forever. Some people are in your life for a reason, some for a season, and some for a lifetime. Learning to recognize when a relationship has run its course is a crucial skill. Letting go of a relationship doesn't mean you failed. It means you're brave enough to admit that it's no longer working and strong enough to move on. When you let go of relationships that drain you, you create space for new, healthier relationships to enter your life. The same principle applies to jobs, hobbies, and even possessions. If something in your life is no longer bringing you joy or helping you grow, it might be time to let it go. Now, this doesn't mean you should give up at the first sign of difficulty. Some things are worth fighting for. The key is to honestly assess whether something is still aligned with your values and goals. If it's not, letting go isn't quitting. It's making a strategic decision to focus your energy where it matters most. Let's talk about the past. Many of us spend a lot of time and energy dwelling on past mistakes or reliving old hurts. But here's the thing, the past is over. You can't change it. The only thing you can control is how you respond to it in the present. Holding on to the past is like trying to drive a car while constantly looking in the rearview mirror. You can't move forward if you're always focused on what's behind you. So I challenge you to make peace with your past. Learn from it, absolutely. But then let it go. Your past does not define you unless you allow it to. You have the power to write a new story for yourself, starting right now. Now let's talk about expectations. Often, we hold on to unrealistic expectations of ourselves, others, or life in general. These expectations can be a source of constant disappointment and frustration. Letting go of rigid expectations doesn't mean lowering your standards. It means being flexible and open to different outcomes. It means understanding that life rarely goes exactly according to plan, and that's okay. When you let go of the need for everything to be perfect or to go exactly as you imagined, you open yourself up to new possibilities. You become more resilient, more adaptable, and ultimately more successful. Remember, the oak tree that refuses to bend in the wind is more likely to break than the willow that sways with it. Now let's talk about control. Many of us have a deep-seated need to control everything in our lives. We think if we can just manage every detail, we can avoid pain, disappointment, and failure. But here's the truth, it's largely an illusion. The only thing you can truly control is yourself, your thoughts, your actions, and your responses to what life throws at you. Letting go of the need to control everything is incredibly liberating. It allows you to focus your energy on the things you can actually influence rather than wasting it on things you can't. This doesn't mean becoming passive or fatalistic. It means recognizing what's within your power to change and what isn't. It means taking action where you can and accepting what you can't change with grace and equanimity. Now let's talk about perfectionism. This is a particularly insidious form of self-sabotage. Many of us hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, thinking that if we can just be perfect, we'll finally be worthy of love, success, or happiness. But perfectionism is a trap. It paralyzes us with fear of failure, keeps us from taking risks, and robs us of the joy of progress and growth. Letting go of perfectionism doesn't mean settling for mediocrity. It means embracing excellence instead of perfection. It means recognizing that mistakes and failures are not just inevitable, but necessary for growth and learning. Remember, every master was once a beginner. Every success story is built on a foundation of mistakes and lessons learned. By letting go of the need to be perfect, you free yourself to try new things, to learn, to grow, and ultimately to... Now let's talk about the opinions of others. Many of us spend far too much time and energy worrying about what other people think of us. We shape our lives around their expectations and judgments, often at the expense of our own happiness and authenticity. But here's the truth. What other people think of you is none of your business. You can't control their opinions, and trying to please everyone is a fool's errand. Letting go of the need for approval from others is one of the most freeing things you can do. It allows you to live authentically, to pursue your dreams without fear of judgment, and to build a life that truly reflects your values and desires. Remember, those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. The people who truly love and support, you will do so regardless of whether you meet their expectations or not. Now let's talk about comparison. In today's world of social media and constant connectivity, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others. We see carefully curated highlights of other people's lives and feel like we're falling short. But comparison is the thief of joy. When you constantly measure yourself against others, you're setting yourself up for disappointment and discouragement. Letting go of the need to compare yourself to others allows you to focus on your own journey. Remember, you're not in competition with anyone else. Your only competition is the person you were yesterday. Instead of comparing yourself to others, compare yourself to where you were a year ago or 5 years ago. Celebrate your progress no matter how small, and remember everyone's journey is different. What looks like success for someone else might not be right for you. Now let's talk about the need to be right. Many of us have a deep-seated need to prove ourselves right and others wrong. We cling to our opinions and beliefs, even in the face of evidence to the contrary. But always needing to be right can be a huge barrier to growth and learning. It can damage our relationships and close us off to new ideas and perspectives. Letting go of the need to be right doesn't mean abandoning your values or beliefs. It means being open to the possibility that you might be wrong, or that there might be more than one right answer. When you let go of the need to be right, you open yourself up to learning and growth. You become more empathetic and understanding of others. And paradoxically, people are more likely to respect your opinions when you're willing to consider theirs. Now let's talk about habits. We are creatures of habit, and our habits shape our lives in profound ways. But not all habits serve us well. Some are left over from earlier stages of our lives, or were adopted without much thought. Letting go of habits that no longer serve you can be challenging, but it's essential for growth and progress. Whether it's a physical habit like smoking or a mental habit like negative self-talk, recognizing and releasing unhelpful habits is a powerful form of letting go. Remember, it takes time to form new habits. Be patient with yourself. Celebrate small victories. And remember that every time you choose a new, healthier behavior, you're rewiring your brain and creating a better future for yourself. Now let's talk about material possessions. In our consumer-driven society, it's easy to accumulate more stuff than we need or even want. We hold on to things out of habit, sentiment, or the vague idea that we might need them someday. But physical clutter often leads to mental clutter. Holding on to things we don't need can weigh us down, literally and figuratively. Letting go of material possessions doesn't mean living like a monk. It means being intentional about what you keep in your life. It means surrounding yourself with things that truly bring you joy or serve a purpose and releasing the rest. When you let go of excess stuff, you create space. Not just in your home, but in your mind, you free up energy that can be directed towards your goals and dreams. Now let's talk about the need for certainty. Many of us crave certainty in our lives. We want to know exactly what's going to happen, when and how. But life is inherently uncertain. The future is always unknown. Letting go of the need for certainty can be scary, but it's also incredibly liberating. When you embrace uncertainty, you open yourself up to new possibilities. You become more adaptable, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. Remember, every great adventure begins with a step into the unknown. Every breakthrough comes from venturing beyond the familiar. By letting go of the need for certainty, you're saying yes to life in all its unpredictable, exciting glory. Now, let's talk about guilt. Guilt can be a useful emotion when it prompts us to correct a wrong or make amends. But often we carry guilt long past its usefulness. We beat ourselves up over past mistakes, replay old regrets, and carry the weight of things we can no longer change. Letting go of guilt doesn't mean absolving yourself of responsibility. It means acknowledging your mistakes, learning from them, and then moving forward. It means extending to yourself the same forgiveness and understanding you would offer to a friend. Remember, you are not your mistakes. You are a growing, evolving human being. Your past actions do not define you unless you allow them to. Now, let's talk about the need to please others. Many of us have been conditioned from a young age to put others' needs before our own. We say yes when we want to say no. We agree when we disagree, all in an effort to keep others happy. But constantly trying to please others at the expense of your own well-being is a recipe for resentment and burnout. It's not selfish to take care of yourself and honor your own needs and boundaries. Letting go of the need to please others doesn't mean becoming inconsiderate or selfish. It means finding a healthy balance between your needs and the needs of others. It means being authentic in your interactions and relationships. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Taking care of yourself first allows you to show up more fully for others. Now let's talk about resistance to change. Change is a constant in life, yet many of us resist it fiercely. We cling to the familiar even when it's no longer serving us out of fear of the unknown. But resisting change is like trying to hold back the tide. It's exhausting and ultimately futile. Change will happen whether we embrace it or not. Letting go of resistance to change doesn't mean you have to love every change that comes your way. It means accepting that change is a natural part of life and choosing to flow with it rather than fight against it. When you let go of resistance to change, you become more adaptable and resilient. You are better able to spot opportunities and challenges and to grow through adversity. Now let's talk about the pursuit of happiness. Many of us believe that happiness is something to be chased, achieved, or earned. We think I'll be happy when, and fill in the blank with some future achievement or acquisition. But happiness isn't a destination. It's not something you arrive at once. You've checked off all the boxes on your life's to-do list. Happiness is a choice you make in the present moment, regardless of your circumstances. Letting go of the pursuit of happiness doesn't mean giving up on your goals or settling for less than you desire. It means recognizing that happiness is available to you right now in this moment. It means finding joy in the journey, not just the destination. Remember, life is not about waiting for the storm to pass, but learning to dance in the rain. When you let go of the idea that happiness is something to be pursued, you open yourself up to experiencing joy and contentment in the here and now. Now let's talk about the fear of failure. This fear keeps so many of us from taking risks, trying new things, and pursuing our dreams. We'd rather stay in our comfort zone than risk failing. But here's the truth. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. Every successful person has failed many times on their way to achieving their goals. Letting go of the fear of failure doesn't mean you'll never feel afraid. It means recognizing that failure is not fatal. It's not final. It's simply feedback that helps you adjust your course. When you let go of the fear of failure, you free yourself to take risks, to learn, to grow. You give yourself permission to be a beginner, to make mistakes, and to keep going despite setbacks. Remember, the only real failure is the failure to try. Everything else is just learning and growth. Now let's talk about the need for external validation. Many of us have been conditioned to seek approval and validation from others, our parents, our peers, our bosses, society at large. We base our self-worth on likes, comments, promotions, and accolades. But true self-esteem comes from within. It's not something that can be given to you by others or taken away by their disapproval. When you rely on external validation, you're putting your happiness and sense of self-worth in the hands of others. Letting go of the need for external validation doesn't mean you stop caring what others think entirely. It means recognizing that you are the ultimate authority on your own worth. It means learning to trust your own judgment and to value your own opinion above all others. When you let go of the need for external validation, you become more authentic. You're free to pursue your own path, to make choices that align with your values and goals, rather than trying to live up to others' expectations. Remember, you are not here to live up to anyone else's expectations. You are here to live your own life, to fulfill your own potential, to become the best version of yourself. Now let's talk about the illusion of scarcity. Many of us operate from a mindset of scarcity. We believe there's not enough to go around. Not enough money, not enough opportunities, not enough love. This belief leads to competition fear and a tendency to hoard resources. But the truth is, we live in an abundant universe. There are always new opportunities being created, new resources being discovered, new connections being made. Letting go of the scarcity mindset doesn't mean being naive or ignoring real constraints. It means choosing to focus on abundance rather than lack. It means recognizing that often the limits we perceive are self-imposed. When you let go of scarcity thinking, you open yourself up to new possibilities. You become more generous, more creative, more collaborative. You start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. Remember, the mind is like a parachute. It works best when it's open. By letting go of scarcity thinking, you're opening your mind to the abundance that surrounds you. Now let's talk about the need to know everything. In our information-rich world, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we need to know everything before we can act. We research endlessly, we second-guess ourselves, we delay decisions out of fear of making the wrong choice. But here's the truth. You'll never know everything. There will always be unknowns, always be risks. The most successful people aren't those who know everything. They're those who are willing to act in the face of uncertainty. Letting go of the need to know everything doesn't mean becoming reckless or impulsive. It means being comfortable with uncertainty. It means trusting in your ability to learn and adapt as you go. When you let go of the need to know everything, you free yourself to take action. You give yourself permission to learn through experience, which is often the best teacher of all. You remember, life is not a dress rehearsal. You don't get to practice before the real thing. Every moment is the real thing. So don't wait for perfect knowledge or perfect circumstances. Take the leap and trust that you will grow your wings on the way down. Now let's talk about the past versions of ourselves. We all have parts of our past that we're not proud of. Mistakes we've made, opportunities we've missed, people we've hurt. It's easy to get stuck in regret, to keep replaying these past versions of ourselves in our minds. But you are not the person you were yesterday or last year or 10 years ago. You are constantly evolving, growing, changing. Holding on to past versions of yourself keeps you from fully embracing who you are becoming. Letting go of past versions of yourself doesn't mean forgetting your history or denying your experiences. It means accepting that you've changed, that you've learned, that you've grown. It means giving yourself permission to be who you are now, not who you used to be. When you let go of past versions of yourself, you free yourself to grow into new, better versions. You open yourself up to new possibilities, new ways of being, new ways of interacting with the world. Remember, every day is a new opportunity to reinvent yourself. You are not bound by who you were in the past. You have the power to choose who you want to be, starting right now. Now, let's talk about the need for constant busyness. In our fast-paced world, many of us have fallen into the trap of equating busyness with importance or productivity. We fill every moment of our day with activity, afraid of what might happen if we slow down. But constant busyness is often a form of avoidance. We keep ourselves busy to avoid facing our feelings, our fears, our big questions about life and purpose. Letting go of the need for constant busyness doesn't mean becoming lazy or unproductive. It means creating space in your life for reflection, for creativity, for rest. It means recognizing that sometimes the most productive thing you can do is nothing at all. When you let go of the need for constant busyness, you create space for inspiration to strike. You allow yourself time to recharge and rejuvenate. You give yourself the opportunity to hear your own inner voice, which is often drowned out by the noise of constant activity. Remember, life is not a race to see who can stay busy the longest. It's about living fully, meaningfully, and with purpose. Sometimes that means slowing down and simply being present in the moment. Now, let's talk about the need to be liked by everyone. Many of us go through life trying to please everyone, to be universally liked. We compromise our authentic selves, our values, our beliefs, in an attempt to fit in and avoid conflict. But here's the truth. It's impossible to be liked by everyone no matter what you do. There will always be someone who disagrees with you, who doesn't understand you, who simply doesn't like you. And that's okay. Letting go of the need to be liked by everyone doesn't mean becoming inconsiderate or alienating others on purpose. It means being true to yourself, even if that means some people won't like you. It means recognizing that your worth is not determined by others' opinions of you. When you let go of the need to be universally liked, you free yourself to be authentic. You attract people who appreciate you for who you truly are, rather than for who you're pretending to be. You form deeper, more meaningful connections. Remember, it's better to be disliked for who you are than to be liked for who you're not. Your tribe, your people, will find you when you're being your authentic self. Now, let's talk about the illusion of permanence. We often act as if things will stay the same forever, our relationships, our jobs, our health, our circumstances. We put off taking action or making changes because we assume we'll always have time later. But life is constantly changing. Nothing is permanent. Every moment is fleeting and unique. Letting go of the illusion of permanence doesn't mean living in constant anxiety about change. It means appreciating each moment for what it is. It means recognizing the preciousness of life and making the most of the time we have. When you let go of the illusion of permanence, you become more present. You appreciate the good times more fully. Knowing they won't last forever, you're more motivated to make changes and take action, knowing that time is limited. Remember, life is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. Make it count. Live each day as if it were your last, because one day you'll be right. Now let's talk about the need for closure. We humans love neat endings. We want every story to have a clear conclusion, every question to have a definitive answer. We struggle with ambiguity and unresolved situations. But life doesn't always provide neat endings or clear answers. Sometimes things remain unresolved. Sometimes questions remain unanswered. Letting go of the need for closure doesn't mean giving up or not caring. It means accepting that some things in life will remain open-ended. It means finding peace with uncertainty and ambiguity. When you let go of the need for closure, you free yourself from the anxiety of unresolved situations. You become more comfortable with the messiness and complexity of life. You open yourself up to new possibilities that might arise from unresolved situations. Remember, sometimes the most beautiful things in life are the ones that remain unfinished. An unresolved situation is not a failure. It's an opportunity for continued growth and learning. Now let's talk about the fear of success. This might sound counterintuitive. After all, don't we all want to be successful? But many of us have a deep-seated fear of success that holds us back from reaching our full potential. We might fear the increased responsibility that comes with success, or worry that we won't be able to handle it. We might fear that success will change us or change how others see us. We might even fear that once we achieve success, we'll have nothing left to strive for. Letting go of the fear of success doesn't mean you'll never feel anxious about new challenges or responsibilities. It means recognizing that you are capable of handling success. It means trusting in your ability to grow and adapt as your circumstances change. When you let go of the fear of success, you free yourself to pursue your dreams wholeheartedly. You give yourself permission to shine, to stand out, to achieve great things. Remember, your playing small doesn't serve the world. You were born to make manifest the glory that is within you. As you let your own light shine, you unconsciously give others permission to do the same. Now let's talk about the need to always be strong. Many of us have internalized the belief that we need to be strong all the time. That showing vulnerability or asking for help is a sign of weakness. But true strength isn't about never falling down. It's about having the courage to get back up when you do fall. It's about being honest about your struggles and brave enough to ask for help when you need it. Letting go of the need to always be strong doesn't mean becoming weak or dependent. It means embracing your humanity with all its ups and downs. It means recognizing that vulnerability is not weakness. It's courage in its purest form. When you let go of the need to always be strong, you open yourself up to deeper connections with others. You give yourself permission to be human, to make mistakes, to learn and grow. Remember, it's okay not to be okay sometimes. It's okay to ask for help. In fact, knowing when to ask for help is one of the strongest things you can do. Now let's talk about the habit of overthinking. Many of us spend countless hours analyzing every decision, replaying past events, or worrying about future scenarios. We think that if we just think about something long enough, we'll figure out the perfect solution. But overthinking often leads to paralysis. It keeps us stuck in our heads instead of taking action in the world. And most of the time, the scenarios we worry about never come to pass. Letting go of overthinking doesn't mean becoming impulsive or careless. It means finding a balance between thinking and doing. It means learning to trust your instincts and your ability to handle whatever comes your way. When you let go of overthinking, you free yourself to take action. You become more present in your life, more engaged with the world around you. You open yourself up to new experiences and opportunities that overthinking might have prevented you from pursuing. Remember, you can't think your way to clarity. Clarity comes from action, so take that first step, even if you're not sure where it will lead. Trust that you'll figure it out as you go. Now let's talk about the need for constant entertainment. In our digital age, we're surrounded by endless sources of distraction and entertainment. Many of us have lost the ability to simply be, to sit with our thoughts, to embrace boredom, to find contentment in stillness. But constant stimulation dulls our senses and our creativity. It keeps us from hearing our own inner voice and connecting with our deeper selves. Letting go of the need for constant entertainment doesn't mean giving up all forms of amusement. It means finding a balance. It means creating space in your life for quietness and reflection. When you let go of the need for constant entertainment, you open yourself up to deeper experiences. You become more creative, more self-aware. You give yourself the opportunity to hear your own thoughts and to connect with your innermost desires and dreams. Remember, boredom is not something to be feared or avoided. It's the space where creativity and self-discovery thrive. Embrace it. Use it as an opportunity to connect with yourself and the world around you in a deeper way. In conclusion, letting go is not about loss. It's about gain. When you let go of what no longer serves you, whether it's material possessions, limiting beliefs, toxic relationships, or outdated versions of yourself, you create space for new growth, new opportunities, new ways of being. Letting go is an act of courage. It requires faith in yourself and in the future. It means stepping into the unknown, trusting that you have the strength and resilience to handle whatever comes your way. Remember, you are not defined by what you hold on to, but by what you let go of. Your past does not determine your future unless you insist on carrying it with you. You have the power to release what no longer serves you and to embrace new possibilities. So I challenge you. What will you let go of today? What weight will you release? What space will you create for new growth and new experiences? The choice is yours. You have the power to free yourself, to reinvent yourself, to create a life that truly reflects who you are and who you want to become. Let go and watch yourself soar. The sky is not the limit. It's just the beginning. Your potential is boundless. Your future is bright. And it all starts with the simple, powerful act of letting go. Remember, every ending is a new beginning. Every act of letting go creates space for something new to enter your life. Trust in the process, trust in yourself, and most importantly, trust in the incredible journey that is life. You are capable of more than you know. You are stronger than you believe. You are wiser than you think. And you are never alone on this journey. So take a deep breath, release what no longer serves you, and step forward into the brilliant future that awaits you. Your time is now. Your life is waiting. Let go and let it unfold.